and welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Thanks for joining me. Christian Dominionism. Have you ever heard of that? We're going to be talking about that today. It plays a big role in our politics today. So there's a connection between the Christian Dominionists and politics. It's a very solid connection. Now, you might disagree that it should be there. You might agree that it should be there. But it's here, no matter what you think. Donald Trump, for instance, gleaned a huge number of votes from the Christian right. Huge. 80% of white Christian males voted for him. Why is this? It might be, and we've talked about this, so I'm going to go over this again. It might be that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You see, even though many people love him and adore him, there's others that said, you know what, he's not a great person. We know who he really is. And you really do have to know who he really is and accept it. And they did. And they said, we need a hired gun. Boom, boom, boom. Imagine a 50-year-old white male coming out of evangelical church and then putting on his clothes and going and yanking a immigrant out of their homes in front of their family. Imagine them going and dragging a gay person out of the public school system, or a transgender person out of a public school system. Imagine them doing any of these things in mass. You're not going to see that. No, they need someone to do it for them. And they're going to hide behind that person, providing them cover. And that person was Donald Trump. So while he's doing all the things we would now deem unconstitutional or illegal, or just plain mean, they're going to agree with in passing. See, they're going to go behind him and they're going to go, yeah, that's okay. See, because we're not doing it, but it needs done. It needs done. That's it. That's opinion, but remember, you can make your opinion the law by voting for people that are more than happy to do what you want them to do. In this case, was Donald Trump. See, he's not the disease, and this country has a disease. It does. He's just a symptom of that disease. I say this again because this is the way we should look at it. So he's been elected. And what's the goal? What's the goal that Christians are seeking? To make America great again? Well, there's a little more to it. For the average MAGA person, that's what they want. They truly believe that this is possible, that there is a time they can go back to, that we can have our culture back. Okay? A lot of this is the insecurities more and more white people have when they see more and more brown people. Now, funny, I was just talking at Panera the other day with a gentleman who lives in Peters Township, and he says most of the people he knows in a very rich area haven't seen an immigrant, probably maybe at a distance. They have very little connection with them and not have been affected by them in any way. But they still hate them. They still want them out. This is the problem we're having with our system. We can go on TV and create a problem that only we can solve. And if you say it enough, people believe it. He said there's a problem with illegal immigration. We can all agree or disagree on it. But he made the claim that these people are criminals and they're raping people, murdering people, and they're doing all these things. And the crime rate is so high and it's so unbelievable that only he can fix it. None of that was true, and it's not. But those on the right especially believed it. Those rich people in Peters Township here, or Bethel Park, or Upper St. Clair, those rich areas in the Pittsburgh area, they believed that. And they went out en masse and voted for Donald Trump, that hired gun. But for Christians, there's more. They want to take over the United States. And I'm going to explain what that is. It's called Christian Dominionism. Let me read here an article from Spectrum magazine. The title is The Seven Mountains Mandate, Christian Dominionism's Playbook. Do you believe that God wants Christians to stand atop the seven mountains of society, including the government, education, media, and others? More and more American Christians, it appears, are saying yes to the question that refers to the Seven Mountains Mandate. That's 7MM short. A strategy and movement growing in popularity that seeks Christian dominion in the seven mountains of society, religion, family, government, education, media, arts, entertainment, and business. Now, this pretty much popularity of Christian Dominionism has increased by about 30% over the last few years. I think 41% of American Christians and 55% of evangelicals agree with this mandate as of January of 2024. It goes on to say, though a 21st century formulation, 7mm in essence represents the latest iteration of an ideology that Adventists have been challenging since 1843. It was then that Charlie Fitch, an American pastor and leading figure in the Millerite movement, whatever that is, called those eager to live under the Messiah's reign to come out of Protestant Christendom, the evangelical empire of collective powerful denominations that preferred to be shapers of culture in Jesus' name. And many people believe this is a very dangerous mandate to be for. There's a book that was written by Matthew Bodie. It's called The Seven Mountains Mandate, Exposing the Dangerous Plan to Christianize America and Destroy Democracy. So you see, that's the fear people should have. So what should we do? Should we fall for this Seven Mountains Mandate, this dominionism? Is that what Jesus Christ himself wanted us to do? So we always talk about how Jesus, when he walked the earth, never intended to take over Jerusalem, to overthrow Rome, to be crowned king on this earth. He never tried to do that. He never promoted that. In fact, he promoted the very opposite, even though his followers believed he was going to do that. Basically, on Palm Sunday, he came in on a colt, not a donkey itself, but a colt, a big man on a little colt, going in the back door into Jerusalem. That's not a king. That's a servant. That's somebody that's going to be sacrificed, which he knew he was going to be. Peter tried to prevent Jesus from going to his death. Jesus rebuked Peter. Why? Because that wasn't the plan. It's never been the plan. When God comes back, whenever that is, that's when he takes this world over. But see, to the dominionist, we can take over now. And for this country, America, more and more people are believing, as I read, they should take over the seven mountains, take over all the arts and the entertainment and the business and the politics and all these things. But how do you do that? See, Donald Trump's part of it. You're going to do it by force. This is what's happening. If you don't see that, there's something off here, because this is the plan. They're not going to do it. I know plenty of people in those groups. They're not going to do it. They're going to talk a good game behind the scenes, how everybody's evil and going to hell and everybody's demonic and all these people are bad and we're going to put them in their place and we're going to get rid of them and all these things. They'll talk the game, but they're not out front. They're not on the front lines. You don't see them going door to door. You don't. But they hired somebody who will use the force of the federal government to do their will. Does that sound right to you? Does it? I'm interrupting this broadcast to let you know that if you like mysteries, legends, and myths, you'll love our new channel, Nights Around the Fire. I have a link in the description box, so go over and check it out. Enjoy the rest of the video. So I got up today and I watched a video after I came back with a cup of coffee. And the video was from a guy I watch all the time, a Reverend Ed Trevors. He's an Anglican priest in Nova Scotia, and he has a channel. And the name of the video was Christian Nationalist Preacher, quote, God sent us to take over. And Reverend Trevors wanted to talk about that. There was a guy named Pastor Travis Johnson, who's a right-wing MAGA evangelical preacher, and he told his congregation that we're here to take over the country and rule it. So this is what the video kind of alluded to. These people want to remake the country in God's image, put all the right laws in place, demand all the right things from people, and put all the right limitations on people, and then put all the right restrictions out there in the public so that they know what they need to do, what they can do, what they're not allowed to do. In a way, we'll make people live the way we want them to live by law, by creating these doctrines, by using what we believe is the right thing to do and forcing people to do that. And I'm assuming that if they don't do that, and this wasn't talked about in the video, but I'm assuming that if they don't do that, there will be some punishment. Remember, Donald Trump, retribution, that whole 9 yards. Retribution, you're going to pay, which is a godly thing to do, right? I'm not sure. So having a Christian nation and would have a power and authority over all those seven mountains, all of them. and we will control what is said, what is done. We'll control free speech. You won't have free speech because, it's not according to what we've told you you're allowed to speak about. Is this what you want, people? Let me know. Is this what you want? I know there will be all kind of people kind of manipulating that question in the comment section, but no. Is this the type of nation that you think we should have? Is this the type of nation Jesus Christ wanted us to have? I don't think so. Now, Reverend Trevor said this: we need a world where love is so abundant, where mercy and forgiveness and compassion and charitableness, kindness, gentleness, good humor, and spirit is so abundant, we wouldn't need a government. We wouldn't need police. We wouldn't need armies. This is the world we should seek, not one of ideology or religion, one of abundant, radical, ridiculous love. We know how to create that. We don't need power over all the world, just need to listen to what Jesus said. Listen to his teachings and how to love one another and sharing the love in such a way that others want to follow and participate in it. Living the life Jesus wants us to live. This would lead others to it. Only then can the earth become the place we want. Okay, so let's compare that to the Donald Trump world. None of that exists in Donald Trump's world. We should consider this before we open our mouths, before we write a comment. We should consider this before we stamp our approval on what's happening in this country right now to immigrants, to LGBTQ plus people, to transgender people, to those people that are brown, poor, living on the fringe of society. We should consider that. Jesus said, I'm going to say this every program if I have to. What you do to the least of these, you do unto me. Where is Christian nationalism in that? Where is the 7 mountain mandate in that? Because it doesn't exist. It never did. It's never what God wanted. If God wanted to take over, he would take over, believe me. So Reverend Trevor's said it this way: we don't need power over the world to show empathy, compassion, and love. That's a personal choice we must make. But more people want the opposite of that. They want the sword, the strong man, the hired gun. Enter stage right Donald Trump, who hates the same things they do. People of color, immigrants, gay people, brown people, black people. Go down the list. But that's not what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to show his love through us, that people want to be like you because you're like him, and they'll follow him because of it. Trying to take over the world, trying to take over the 7 mountains is basically hideous to me. It's almost blasphemous. Jesus never intended us to be dominant over this world. He intended us to show who he was to this world. And that's why you don't hear many people preach about the words of Jesus anymore. See, many preachers try to get around that now, get around the words of Jesus. Because if you say, what you do to the least of these, you do unto me, that's condemning. We can't condemn our congregation because we hate immigrants, gay people, brown people, black people, transgender people. We hate what we see. We want to change it by force. And that was never the ways of Jesus Christ. You can't find it anywhere in Scripture. When he comes back, he'll come back. We worry so much about when he comes back, we stop doing the things he told us to do now. Love everybody. Love your enemy as yourself. Reach out to the immigrant, to the foreigner. These are the things we refuse to do today because, again, we want to make America white again. We want to make America great again because we're really, really concerned about losing our culture. We're concerned about losing what we think is important in our lives. Believe me, in the scheme of things, this country's not important. If you're a Christian, this is the least important thing that we should be worried about. Your salvation is the first thing you worry about. And the words of Jesus, do my work upon this earth. He spells it out pretty simply. He didn't say go judge everybody, that's for sure. But guess what? It's a pastime of many, many, many people. I'm not one of them anymore. I'm going to close with this. I was that guy. I was that right-wing guy. I was there. All the things I talk about, I experienced. I'm coming out of knowledge. But I learned the hard way. I learned That's not the way of being a Christian. The way is to love, show compassion, empathy, and mercy. And though I fail every day, I'm going to get up every day and work at it again. So don't tell me how much you like Donald Trump. He is the opposite of what I see this country needs. It's all the time I have. God bless you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And don't forget to go over to our sister channel, Nights Around the Fire. I have a link in the description box to get there. If you like mysteries, legends, and myths, you'll love this channel. We have another video we're working on this week. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll like it. Outside of all that, God bless you, and I'll see you tomorrow right here on your favorite place for news, information, commentary, and analysis, The David Tomsic Show.